Welcome to Bridge the Gap. This is the show that we do over here. My name is Holden Stephan Roy. Joining me today, we have Mr. Five, the hip hop Five, and we are. The point of Bridge the Gap is to talk to people who are along their journey, right? Like you're on a journey, we're all on journeys, and we're all at different places in the journey that we're on. And through our journeys, we have developed knowledge nuggets. These are the things that are dope, that are little wisdom points that have helped us in our life. So as we go through your life and learn about you, we're going to be able to find new knowledge nuggets that enlighten all of us to elevate to a bigger point. It's probably not the most typical interview shit in the world. It is what it is, but
Good brother.
I'm really excited to learn about you because this guy makes some noise in this contest grind. So I met Five through this contest grind. I don't think we've talked much before this other than a whatever. But basically, we do this breaking records. This shit's got a $500 cash prize. This shit's got classified as a judge. I'm feeling cocky like a motherfucker. I put my shit out. I see Five's entry. I shut the fuck up, sat down, I was in my place, my guy. I was
Appreciate
over.
that.
I said, I don't, and then look, Five stood out to me though, because I've seen a lot of his little contest entries. I call them little because they're literally small songs in the sense that they're quite short, so it's little in that regard. A lot of them that I've seen, and he's extremely stand out with a versatile flow. But when you listen to the bars, it's not just limited to cultural references and braggadocio. It almost puts out this ethos of a person with a stellar work ethic that cares about the craft of things, but also the branding and image that he puts out into the world. And I heard all that through the lyrics that you put out, because like I said, we never really talked that much. And that stood out to me compared to a lot of, not no disrespect, but it stood out to me as an attractive quality within your lyrics, that maybe you had a lot of the hard stuff, whatever, but that soulful shit was just prevalent throughout all of it. I know that you came second place in this Bars of Death competition as well. And I don't think people realize how many people participate, like how many people you actually beat out, that you were just like the
Yeah,
most standout competitor
yeah. No,
in.
those were, in fact, and those are probably two of the biggest contests that I've done. And it's well put together. They get a lot of entries.
Yeah.
Obviously, I find the ones that due by Friday, next Friday or whatever. It's you don't get as many entries, and it's just word of mouth. Really at that point. Breaking Records crew did a good job promoting it. They got a good following. Bars of Death. I've seen them kind of grow since I think I joined them back in like last May, June, something like that. So
Mm.
shout out to those guys. Yeah, man, and it's all we're all in the same boat. We're all just trying to be heard, and for the most part, we're all artists in one form or another. So,
Mm.
um,
Also,
it's all networking, man, for me.
you won the Clash contest, which is some Montreal shit, which is also how you ended up here. I forgot about that. Shout out Smoking Ink because they're the homeboys for
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
So you won
Oh
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one.
That's right. Yeah, shout out to those guys. I haven't interacted too much with them, so my
Yeah,
apologies.
they're like real ones.
Yeah, no, shout out to them too. And really anybody who runs these types of pages and stuff like. Can I swear on this show? I
I'm
just want to
smoking
make
a
sure I
joint,
watch.
my guy. We fucking good.
Cool, cool. All right, yeah, no. So fuck them. Let's get that out of the way. Nah, man. Yeah, nah. It's all love, man. Anybody who's doing this grind is
Yeah,
tough, man. It's
but
we all
you're
got jobs, families, kids.
but that's where it's interesting because your grind led you to this moment, and other people's grinds may lead them to this moment in other times. But in this moment, it's your grind. So you are actually the star of the show in this moment, whereas other people are cool. Everyone's cool, but not everyone's Five. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everyone may have been Five. Anyway, that's a joke. Actually, I do have like a token, like first question I run through with everybody, and then we just kind of break into whatever and however it flows. But I just
yeah, yeah.
think it's kind of important. Shout out Lameth for the raid. Hey, Lameth coming through. Woo! That's amazing. Oh, I like Ismail made a joke. Not everybody's a 5-on-5, but Five might be more on the 5-on-5 sphere than other people. Yeah, it's not like I don't like to lie. I also don't like to gas people up, but I do think you're special compared to a lot of people. You're the only person I think I ever put a I'm kind of jealous of him bar out into my own shit. And if you watch that shit I did Justice Santa, I say this bar, you might want to listen to Five on a track. Because everyone was fucking with you and they weren't fucking with me. And that's the facts of the
It's all good.
situation.
It's all love. I appreciate the, honesty, if you will. But it's, that's not the goal, right? I mean, we're here to build each other up.
I know.
Some people listen. Hard work beats talent, man. So you
So
gotta
I
try to have
fuck
both.
with you though. Not everybody's humble like that. Not everybody's yo. Okay. Let me do my first question. Your story's dope. We're
So,
tired of talking about you because you are special, my guy. I'm sorry. It's what it is. You can argue with me if you want, but my perception is not your perception.
oh no, no, I get it. Yeah. Now listen, well, there's the other side of me too. And, you see that side, like there's, it's all in me, right? But I just, I'm not a dick, but like at the same time, like yeah, I know that I can see the gap and separation, and but like I don't look at
Everyone's at a different
I don't
place
look
in
at
their journey.
so exactly.
I say that sincerely. I know I had a weird look on my face, but I mean that.
That's a really good way to put it, actually. I mean, because we all are. Some people are just starting out. You might have people, and then you could tell, you know what I mean. But it doesn't make it's not better or worse. It's just growth. That's all. I'm just a bigger tree. I've just grown more. That's all.
I hear the
Yeah, that's
practice,
what
but let's do that first question because it brings you all the way back to
yeah.
you being the youngest of young. We're going to talk about. So it's a bit of a story. It's going to take me a minute to get through the question, but when it lands, you'll be able to answer it. I promise. Everyone's been able to do it. So it starts off with my girlfriend washing the dishes, listening to that Black Eyed Peas song, that I got a feeling,
Mm-hmm.
ooh. And I'm like, she's dancing and she's washing dishes, and this is 2020, and I'm like, man. Remember back in the day, I don't know how old you are, etc. But for me, it was back in the day when we were out clubbings and barzings and shit. That was the shit at like 2 a.m. to jump around to drunk as fuck with our circle dances, and we was singing that crap. Shout out DJ Bobby Payne who popped in. And so we're vibing to that, and I'm like, yo, wait a second. That used to be club music, right? It used to, but now it's chores music or mom music or however you want to frame this shit. And it could be workout music, but it used to be club music, and now it's this shit because the decade's gone by, which then made me go, yo, all that club music, it's just chores and workout music in the future. That's all it's destined to become, which is fucking dope. But it's dope because it's like music kind of has places over time and shit, which is actually magical. So the shit you're making today could be somebody's fucking punching a punching bag song in 10 years, which is fire if you think about it.
Right.
And then it brought me back to being like 5, real young. And I started thinking about how my mom did chores to these discos, these little fucking shitty tapes she would buy that were knockoff disco covers. And that would be like she'd dance around to it or whatever. And my dad had these tapes of Led Zeppelins, and it was all tapes. Tapes was the big thing, and, car rides with different vibes and shit. And we had the radio. But what I realized is I had no fucking control in what I listened to at this time in my life. My parents, my environment, it decided the very core foundation of the musical journey I would go on in my life. So a lot of people think it starts when you're 12, you're 13, you're getting into your shit. And for most people, that's when they get into their shit. But really, it starts when you're mad young with your earliest memories. So I was hoping you could take us back to being like 5 or whatever, right? And you get it, right? 5. No, but like being like young. And you could tell us a little bit about the musical landscape of being that young in your world.
Yeah, man, that's a really deep fucking question. I love it. I think on the level on that level too. But yeah, no, I think you're right. So I mean, the first few names that would jump out to me. So like, I'm really close to my mom. She had me when she was young. She was 16. So we're really close. So the era of music that was like starting to get popular, like early 90s. I'm 33. So
you're fresh. That's my age.
I'm
We're the same age.
my bad. No, I'm 34. I lied. I just turned 34. I don't even know what day it is
my
anymore.
Girlfriend's age. Whoops.
We're the same age. That's all good. Yeah, don't let her hear that. You're gonna get in trouble.
Nah, she's right there.
I'm busting. Yeah, no, I think so my mom, she was listening to Lauryn Hill. She was listening to Sade, Mariah Carey my mom was a huge Mariah Carey fan, Boyz II Men, like it was all like soulful, like R&B shit, like that my mom would listen to. As far as rap, like the first like time I listened to hip hop, it's probably Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise. That movie, it was so dope, Dangerous Minds, and I remember that song. I think it was probably like the first song where if you remember,
like, 8, 9 when that shit drops.
Yeah, I was born in 86, so that was like 92, 93, something like that.
Was it that early? Yo, shut up. Hold on. I got
Dangerous Minds would have been 95 maybe. Yeah. So I was about, about that. Yeah, you're right.
I just got to pause and say, Thank you for the bits, DJ Bobby Payne, because on Twitch they throw bits, which is like pennies at the strip club. It's the best way I can describe it. So man's just
Yeah.
threw like $1 at me, like we all like up there. So shout out DJ Bobby Payne for the bits. I'm just saying that's dope. Not to cut you off, but it's like the Twitch rules and shit.
No, no, yeah, of course, man. You know, you want to show love to those who are showing love. So, yeah, no. So I mean, you know, like when I didn't have a child, now you know, that was like when I was like, oh, I kind of like this. Like I like the vibe. Like I remember like you know, I used to love the song "Kiss from a Rose."
Yo,
by
that
Seal.
is a banger. Okay, I don't care what anyone says.
Absolutely. I saw that movie. That song was in. I think it was in a Batman movie, like one of like the bad ones.
Yeah, this is nifty. I don't know if you
they-
notice what you're doing, but you're connecting your earliest music memories to significant movie soundtracks.
yeah, right. Yeah, so exactly. So I used to love the song Space Jam. I fucking played that. I still play that song. I play it for my daughter when we would jam out in the basement. But yeah, no, I think that's probably it, right? I mean, you know, make that connection when we were younger like that. We heard a song that we liked in a movie or a show or something that we heard, and that's you know, that's how we kind of attach to artists
That's big though.
without even knowing it, I guess you could say.
Yo, cause like I hear a lot of different stories, but I fucks with your version of the story more than a lot of other people's versions. Cause now that I think about it, yo, there was a lot of songs from that I fucked with that were because we watched a lot of movies a lot, right? And so my parents were fucking really into VHSs. Like we would go to the movie store and like fucking bang out Friday night deals, boom, boom, boom. But we always would watch like the same shit like over and over and over again. If I really think about it, like they had their favorites and they could just watch them over, but they all had these songs. And then if I think about it, those are my parents' favorite fucking jams too. So in a sense, I got exposed to a lot of stuff like that too. Yo, Space Jam is actually a great soundtrack. I don't know how they got so many hard rappers on this kids movie shit, but it's fire if you really think about the beauty
Well,
of the Space
and that's
Jam
why
soundtrack.
that was like the golden era of hip hop, man. You know, and I know, you know, it wasn't where hip hop started, but for me it was. You know what I mean? So like that was like you know who did you start getting into is a completely different question than who did you have no choice to listen to. So I like that concept. So yeah, no, my mom liked you know Mary J. Blige was another one. As far like she liked LL, you know, she was a big like LL Cool J fan. The Nas and Jay Z was like just after her. That's like our you know like Drake and like J. Cole. Like she liked Jay Z, but like her Jay Z was my J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't grow up listening to it, but she can bump it. And yeah, no, my mom's one of my biggest supporters, and my father too. He listened to hip hop. He used to listen to like you know. Now he was listening to like Run DMC. You know, he was listening to Beastie Boys. Like he was listening to like that like era. You know what I mean?
No, that's dope though, right? Because it kind of frames a lot of. You're versatile, right? Yeah, I love that. Ladies love Cool James. I thought that shit, but it was like ladies do love Cool James. That's kind of what it is. This artist is fiVe. It is fiVe. I may have misspelled it a little bit by accident because I wasn't paying attention. I don't know if it was with a 5 ever and I just remember it like that, but like now it's F.
It's so good. Yeah, I seen it on the flyer.
Like,
yeah, no, I spell it out FIVE, but it's you know I think your way if you put it into YouTube, you probably you know and that was my name. You're probably more likely to find me because of the uniqueness. But I felt like it was originally unoriginally original like you know what I mean in
so
terms of
like
spelling
I
it
just did that by accident. I don't know. I was
no
looking at it
not you I'm
after.
talking about me
No, but I mean I
that's
spelled it
why
wrong, and I felt real bad about that. If you watch the early part of this stream, you will watch me realize I spelled it wrong and go rush to correct it everywhere.
and my job is to make sure that they know exactly how to spell it every time. You know what I mean? If I'm doing my job right, then they don't have to know. So I'm not doing my job right. It's not your fault.
You know what it was? You had the Grand Theft Auto 5 with a V or something, and that shit was in your promotional advertising at one point. And I believe I took that, and that fucked with my perception of your name. So in a sense, it worked.
Yeah, no,
anyway, we do have a good question that I forgot to ask. That usually comes good after that first question. Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm from Rhode Island. So I don't know how familiar you are, but you know, between Boston and New York, we're closer to Boston, like Providence area. You have to go through Connecticut, then New York. We're about 2.5 hours away, so we're kind of right in the middle there, East Coast. I go this far in depth every time because not many people know not many people know where Rhode Island is, like that live in the States, never mind in Canada. So I just make sure everybody knows.
I'm just like covering your face for a second, and then we found Rhode Island on the map, and now we can know it's over here, everybody. That's where it is. Holy fuck, that's south as fuck. I mean, it doesn't look. Oh, it's okay. No, never mind. I wasn't scrolled up. That's north south. It's a weird place. I don't even. I guess. Okay, I get it. We just looked at the geography. Anyway, you know what? It's fine. I was curious. I wanted to visualize it. I didn't know where Rhode Island was because I talked to a lot of people now in the states, and I'm like, I don't fucking know where anything is in the states.
Yeah, no, that's why I went and that's why I went into it that thorough. I can't just answer, Texas or what I'm saying? Like I say Rhode
Yeah.
Island and then it's like, oh, where's that? I never heard of it. And then it's like so I just skip the steps and tell tell everybody ahead of time. But yeah, no, we're it's most people know Providence, that's our capital. That's where our airport is actually not based out of there, but it's TF Green Airport in Providence. But
Mm.
Providence Friars. We don't have much to hang our hats on, but Rhode Island's nice though. I love it here, man. It's just home.
I respect that. I mean, I live in Montreal. It's
Shout out
not
to
the
Rhode Island.
same, but Rhode Island, I've heard of. I just didn't know where it is on a map. But to be honest, I sit there and go, "Where's Boston?" And then go, "Oh, that's where Boston is." And then go through that process like I'm a goldfish when it comes to American geography, like all the fucking time. So,
I
I
used to be
think.
really good at geography when I was in like elementary school, like this United States geography anyway. But
Mm, I respect that though. I mean, I barely know Canadian. I know Quebec geography though. I'm really good at that part because it's around me and I've looked at it a lot on the maps. But that's still
yeah,
dope that you have such a versatile fucking array of musical influences to kickstart it. Were y'all fucking with vinyls or tapes?
it was like tapes and the CDs, not necessarily vinyls. Like
Mm,
I got it, like I knew what a vinyl was, but like I didn't have a lot of friends that like had. But like once I got into high school and shit, like that's when I started to meet people who actually own vinyl. And I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, it was mostly tapes, and then we went into CDs. The era I remember like burning CDs off of like Kazaa and like
mm. Yo, did you ever
Napster.
dub the radio?
Yeah. So with you're talking about like
Like,
recording like the song while it was on.
yeah,
Yeah,
off the
sometimes
radio, the
I'd have to
tapes.
fucking rush to get I'd have to rush to get a tape and I'd only get half the track because I couldn't find it to get it in right and record it in time. So yes, I absolutely done that.
That's amazing. And it's cool because like it's good to get ourselves back into this frame of mind. People don't know how much they forgot about how interesting they were at five. I know it's fucking weird to say, but people often don't think about how cool they. I've heard about a lot of stuff, so that's why my follow up question is going to be focused on other elements of shit. So, are you ever into dancing? Was that something a little 5-year-old five was up to?
No, but I got a really one of my really good friends, one of the dudes I came up with dance, and actually, one of my he taught one of my really good friends also how to dance. There's a really good dancer, Calvin Fabian, from out here. He owns his own kind of like company and dance team and whatnot, and teaches like the youth and community and shit. Me personally, nah, but I'll dance at a wedding if I'm drunk, and we're gonna
Respect.
have a blast. But I'm not I never got into it though. I love watching it. I wish I could do it. It's like one of the things I wish I could do that I can't.
What about drawing and stuff? Because, graffiti art's another element, so I include drawing and shit in that. Were you interested in that when you was mad young?
Yeah, I'm still I've always absolutely. In fact, I won most artistic and like, it was like one of like my middle school. I don't know if it was like seventh or eighth grade or whatever it was, but yeah, no, I've always been a decent drawer, I guess you could say, illustrator, if you will. Um and I've always been creative, you know what I mean? Like that's like whether it be with drawing or whether it be with obviously music, finding a game, like finding a game in the whatever it was. I'm very creative, think quick, and I've always done that. So
Did you
drawing
ever
was fun.
did you ever have interest in production side of things? Are you an engineering dude or are you more of a rapper dude alone?
I've always just brought the bars,
Love
and
it.
it's like I've literally in the last like um, I'd say year now, maybe like 9 months or so, I've really kind of been transitioning because I think that's the one thing I was missing. Um, no matter how dope I write my bars and I envision them in my head, when I go into the studio, if it's not an engineer that I'm working with one on one, specifically where like they know me and I know them, the chemistry, you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're
It
saying
doesn't come
there.
out and it's obviously it's not it's convenience and price sometimes so that's why I had to get hands on. So I actually started fucking around with Pro Tools
That's
last
cool.
July.
So we'll
Uh,
definitely get to that part. I'm just trying to, because sometimes people start telling these crazy stories about dubbing tape on tape and making beats at like 7, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe five has that story. So I ask everybody, kind of like, I'm pretty like, let's
yeah,
run
yeah,
through
yeah.
shit when you're young. And then sometimes I find out about drama presentations and plays and all this other crap people got up to that we all fucking did and loved when we were young, and then got old and cool and forgot about. So like, I fucking love this part. It makes me nostalgic every time. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, I feel you.
but I usually feel like at a certain point, even though you may have had a lot of songs you knew when you were young, there's usually a certain point, and we've linked it to about puberty through this interview series, where you start going from that's the music to that's my shit. Like that's you hear a song and it changes everything, and all of a sudden music is seen like differently in your life. I'm wondering if you remember that moment or what that song
Yeah,
may be.
it was Big Pun. The harsh realities of life would take a toll. Even Jesus Christ forsake my soul. Please tell me what price to pay to make it home. Take control. Once I heard that shit from Big Pun, I said, I have goosebumps right now thinking about it. Just thinking of bringing me back to that time. That was like I was into hip hop by then, but like I was like, holy shit, what did he just say? And I felt like with my creativity, I could always do something like that, and that's when I decided. I think, okay, this is dope. Um, this is what I want to do, and not necessarily, I didn't decide at that point I want to be a famous rapper, right? But my point is, that's the first song that jumps out to me where I was like, yep, this is dope.
Mm.
Now in terms of like inspiration for me to write, is what that song was. Is your question based off of like, okay,
Honestly,
I like hip
it
hop?
wasn't even that far. It was more like, okay, I'll frame it like sometimes it's like it's vague on purpose because like I don't really know people well. I'm trying to get to know you all on the fly.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
our first real chat, just so that the people watching know. Like this. I'm okay with talking about what I do. But like for myself, that like the moment I'm thinking of is I'm like 12 and
yep.
we're in grade 6 and we're doing some school choir bullshit, but we have an hour and we all agree the thong song is the shit. And for an hour we played the thong song, and after that moment I just loved music different. And maybe the song is great for what it is for a 12-year-old boy, but it was more than that. That song is a banger regardless of how ludicrous that video is. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's so well constructed, and it's just all of a sudden I started caring about buying albums and getting into music, and like that was a big moment in my life which led to a lot of other things.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that there's a few. So Ghetto Superstar for some reason sticks out to me. Like it's like if I'm putting myself at that age and that time, like with Maya and ODB, like the Method Man and Mary J. Blige song. You're all I need
Mm.
to get that shit. Those were a couple of dope tracks. That I was like, oh yeah, this is dope. But I also had friends. One of my best friends when we were younger, he was like we used to do like backyard wrestling, bro, and like they were all like metalheads and like and they were my best friends, man. And these dudes listen to like Slipknot, Cold Chamber, like so like I've had a lot of musical influence, and it's like obviously some songs are dope. The shit when they just scream and you can't hear it,
Yeah, fuck with
obviously.
Slipknot though.
Yeah, yeah, no, dude, they got some fucking like obviously I don't bang it like 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm going to work unless I know I'm gonna have a bad day ahead of me, but or I'm stuck in traffic, I just roll the windows down and bang some Slipknot so nobody bothers me. I'm playing. No, but the point is that I've believe me, I've had a lot of different friends. I'm one of
Did
those
you
people that
participate in this backyard wrestling?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Can we
I
talk
was a
about
champ.
that more? How? Because that's you might not know this, but I fucks with wrestling. You know I fucks with
Yeah,
it because
I'm
it's
a huge
great
wrestling
shit,
fan,
man.
bro.
There's a
It's one of
huge
my guilty pleasures.
there's a huge correlation between comic books, hip hop, and wrestling, because they're
Yep.
all genres where people create characters upon which they play roles either as villains or slash heels. Yeah, I know my terms, and the faces of the world. That's the good guys,
Yep.
and we all
Yep.
just
Yep.
kind of integrate into this cool fucking universe. And so when you say you did backyard wrestling, like, yo, I know some motherfuckers that do that shit too. I'm in Quebec. There is this actual scene there for that. Um,
Yep.
I'm not really the kind of guy that was ever brave enough, but I respect the shit out of you for being that. So, tell us a bit about how that like worked in your life, whatever. Just literally go on about it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, backyard wrestling, man, was always fun. I was big into wrestling, and it was like I don't know, it was just one Saturday, we seen some people down the street that were doing it, and there was like a league, and I used to be like really, really athletic, like flips, cartwheels, in shape. I was 12, fuck, right? We're 33 now, 34 now, shit. But yeah, no, I mean, I always loved wrestling. That it was a way, and you were right. You're right. I'm not like one, I'm not like a huge like mark about it or whatever, but I just always enjoyed like the story that was told, and like the promos are amazing. You know what I mean? You remember guys like The Rock because he cut those amazing promos. You know what I mean? He wasn't the best wrestler, but guess what? He didn't have to be. His creativity took him to the next level. So you don't have to be the best wrestler in the world to be the best wrestler. You get what I'm saying? Hulk Hogan wasn't the best wrestler, but guys like Cesaro, right? That dude's a friggin' animal, a powerhouse. He flies around
Right.
the ring.
If you
But
look at
but he
John
has no
Cena
charisma.
as a really interesting example that I think a lot of people can learn a marketing point from. John Cena was not the best wrestler. Let's be real. Like all the wrestling people that really cared about wrestling would make fun of his like 5 move victory thing. I don't remember it, but it was a big thing
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
communities I fucked with. Because I watched wrestling hardcore from '07 to '08, but by the end of '08, it was so like I could tell who was gonna win matches in the WWE that it was hard for me to enjoy it. And the Hornswoggle thing, it was kind of weird. It was just a weird
Yeah,
angle. I didn't know how to deal with that. I was weird. What am I watching here? But Jeff Hardy, oh my
yeah,
gosh,
nah,
that guy was crazy. He was so
yeah.
interesting. But then you have John Cena who's winning everything. You know what the main difference between these guys is? Fucking Make a Wish. Think about it.
Mhm.
The guy's doing Make a Wish. Of course you want to support him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's I think you're right, right? Obviously that is like, it's a smart acceptance on his side, but I don't think John Cena, and maybe he did. I know John Cena's a nice guy. Maybe he went to Make a Wish and said, "Hey, let me help you," or if they offered it to him, he
I'm sure
accepted.
Vince
Um,
McMahon arranged
but
this shit.
but the right, right.
John Cena is also mad charismatic. Don't get me wrong. A John Cena promo is some serious shit. Like I'm gonna tell you something. When I hear,
Um,
that shit, I turn that song on to hype myself up to this day because it's so banging. And
I
he's
like well I think the thing is to learn from Cena, like for me, if I'm applying it to life, right? Because that's I'm deep on that level too, is like,
yeah,
the guy took his strengths and he maximized them, right? So it's like, okay, I'm not going to win the crowd. I'm not going to win the crowd over. I'm not going to get that offer from Make a Wish. Vince McMahon's not going to set that up for me doing backflips off the top rope. And I can't try to be something I'm not. I'm going to use my genuine personality, my creativity, and my physique. Right. I mean, I'm going to put the work in the gym and get
facts.
bigger than it wasn't always that big.
Yo, he lifted Big
Um,
Show, I think, at one point. Wasn't that a thing he did? He lifted, his face got all red and he fucking like burst blood vessels as he lifted Big Show and did his fucking whatever thing. Yo, that is the kind of stuff that gets you to fucking hero status. Who the
Yeah,
fuck
man.
could lift Big
Like
Show?
like I said, I like Cena. The whole backyard thing, that was fun. Had a bunch of us every Saturday. We get together. Definitely helped kind of mold me to who I was. Obviously, we get older and new groups of friends, and there'll always
Did
be,
you guys like film it and shit? Like, did you guys script
yeah,
out
absolutely.
storylines?
Yeah, yeah. I can get my hands on probably a VHS. Absolutely. We were. It was dope. It was
Were you
dope.
like mad unsafe about it?
No, actually, like yes and no, right? We weren't as safe as we thought, but we tried to be safer than what was out there, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I've seen some wild shit.
But yeah, no, we weren't stupid. Put it like that. At least I wasn't. I've seen some stupid people. I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying? I got more brains and guts. I'm not afraid to admit that. But it also depends on what we're talking about is the reward. You know what I'm saying? So I think for the reward of what you really want, that's when your guts take over your brains. But
Mm.
I'm very calculated. You know what I mean? And I've always been that way since a backyard wrestler, I guess.
No, but that's dude. I think it's fucking cool. Did y'all have a belt?
Yeah, we made him.
Oh, that's
Some
amazing.
once we started getting like a little bit older, we get like the good presents for Christmas, right? So we didn't have to make it out of cardboard. We'd actually get like one part of a tag team belt, and then we made it like our world championship belt. But we would add like cardboard on the outside, but this time it was like this, like it wasn't cardboard, it was plastic, and we used duct tape, and we got creative with it, you know what I mean, and we made it look as like authentic as possible. Again, just shedding light on the creativity part, you know what I mean. But yeah, no, it was fun, man, and you felt like you were on stage, even though there was a few people, but we got the whole neighborhood to come watch us one time, man. It was dope.
Yo, I'm glad you shared that. You might not think it's as interesting as I think it's interesting, but that's riveting shit,
Yeah,
dude.
to me, backyard wrestling. Shout out to the UWA. That's what we call.
What does that stand for?
Ultimate Wrestling Alliance.
Love it.
Well, actually, one of my buddies, actually, he went. My buddy Anthony. We've been still good friends to this day. He actually took it to like the next level. He went to like, he didn't go to like professional or whatnot. But to me, it's professional. He's in a ring. He puts on local shows and stuff like that. He was their champion for a little while. He's doing the dad thing and the family thing now too. So obviously, a lot more to risk. You got to start thinking about others more than yourself when you have a family and shit. But yeah, man, it was dope. It was definitely a big part of what helped mold me.
No, but it's crazy, right? Because if you think about your presence today, there's got to be a huge connection between your time working on, because if you think about wrestling, half that shit is just melodrama, right? Like, it really is poses, and you got to do your struts. Did you guys go that far with it, or was it more about the fighting?
Nah, yeah, we tried to make it like as like authentic as what you see on television as possible. Let's put it that way. Like we went the whole nine. We had gear. We used to like. What up?
What's your song? What was your entrance song?
The Deftones. My Own Summer it was called. That was my entrance music. Storm and Gorman. That was my shit.
Storm and Gorman.
SG.
That's a good name, man.
Yeah, we went to Six Flags over here one time, and they had like shirts, and I got the shirt made, like the airbrush shirts. I don't know if you've been to like the amusement park where they do like the airbrush shirts and shit. Yeah. And I got the Superman symbol with the SG in it, and that was my wrestling shirt. And that was after I made 100 of them from Walmart and markers and shit. We were assholes too. We used to like.
Hold on, you guys made merch for this shit. Or did you make?
Oh yeah, we didn't sell it.
But you made it. Think about what you're doing, because you might be like blowing this up. You're not seeing what I'm hearing, right? You're like what, 14, 15, being innovative and creating the.
Probably a little younger. Probably yeah, around that age, 12 to 15.
You know what? All of that makes it more impressive. And instead of sitting there playing, you know what I'm doing at that age, dude? Nintendo 64 is out. Nintendo 64 is my fucking life. You're literally practicing event promotion, marketing strategies. You're practicing. You might not know it at that time. It might not be, but that is a crazy drive to go and bring something for 3 years at that age.
So what we would do is we would talk about like how we want the outcome of the matches and shit like that while we were playing 64 too. So no, I'm a huge video game dude too. I should say I used to be. I don't play nearly as much. I play one game. I play NBA 2K, and that's all I have time for. I just hop in the Rex and stuff. But video games was a huge part of my upbringing, dude. I had 64, Super Nintendo, Dreamcast. I had, I had the works. I had it all. Thanks, man. And I shouldn't say I had it all. In terms of video games, I did. At least I felt like I did.
Yeah, I was pretty blessed. My dad he had periods of life where he played a lot of video games. I could put it like that. So we had a lot of video games in the house. It was actually kind of
blessed, I feel blessed that I was able to say that. You know what I mean? I'm not like you hear my story. It's not like a typical like rapper, but like I ain't rapping about like killing people neither. Like what I'm saying? Like believe me, I got friends.
You know what? The people who end up on my show kind of sound interesting and cool like you, because you just sound cool to me. You know what? You know what's cool? Having your own fucking backyard wrestling league as a teenager that you guys set up and took serious. Now you're out here navigating this world of rap contests and comment sections and stuff like a boss. But you already had to learn a lot of things that people probably don't even learn to this day, because you went through some. There's no way you couldn't have learned about conflict resolutions, management, and a lot of weird life grown-up shit that would have went into working with this many people. How many people were involved?
I say we probably had like 7 or 8 of us that were there. Actually, yeah, like 7 to 10 that were like consistent. You can count on them every week. Then there was like that 5 or 6 that would, sometimes they couldn't make it, sometimes they could, and then there were, then we had our special guest appearances, and we had talked about it at one point, like saving up our money and buying like an actual ring, and and just, but by the time you start getting older and shit, like it's again, life just kind of happens that way. You know what I mean?
But like, you
It's
gotta understand how dope that part of your story really is, cause the five story is all of five's life put together, and the one thing that you don't get to control is what other people think is interesting. And I promise, motherfuckers are gonna find that interesting. We're gonna totally make a YouTube clip out of five's backyard wrestling league,
no
and
doubt.
and that's gonna be a dope clip to me. I'd fucking click on that shit. Yo, this guy's a fucking backyard. What the fuck? Yo, he's 12 doing this shit. Yo, I gotta listen to his shit. Yo, that's a workflow, and you're that interesting. I didn't make that up. That was you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's interesting to hear that. That's interesting. I don't even know how the fuck we started getting talking about it and shit.
This is what I do, my guy.
But,
You came into the little world of the bridging of the gaps, and then I look for things that I think would make for great content for people to hear about, that will showcase how your life has contributed along your journey. These things that you don't connect the dots on. Yo, there's an absolute connection between the skill set you developed as a teenager doing this that led to your abilities today. So maybe parents watching hear that, and when they're having parental decisions on should they let the kids have the backyard wrestling league going on or not, they go, yo, but think about five and how that led into great things in his future. So there's lots of
yeah, yeah.
layers to this shit. But I'm supposed to come up with ways to make you come up with interesting things about yourself and elaborate on them, right?
Yes, sir.
That's kind of my role. Don't worry, you sound great. You're fucking killing this shit. So at this time, is music part of it? Are you rapping stills, or are you just like a fan of it at this point? Like, I know you got interested in it at the Biggie point, but usually there's like a transition between, yo, I'm a fan of this shit, to I'm a beat this guy.
Yeah, so I started doing that, and once I hit high school, um, and like I had heard, and that was the weird thing. When I told you about that song with Pun, right? Um, it wasn't the first time that it wasn't the first time that I heard it. Like it was the first time I listened. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Actually,
listened to
I
the
know what
album.
you're saying, but clarify the difference for the people.
So like hearing something is like just I'm hearing it and I'm catching it onto the parts that I like, right? So like it might be a movie like Space Jam or something, and we listen to the Space Jam song, and I hear the whole song, but the only part I'm singing is "Everybody Get Up, It's Time to Sleep," because that was what caught my ear, right? So in other words, I'm not listening to the words and what he's actually saying and how it's put together. My mind wasn't that developed yet. Where once I listened to it, when my mind was developed enough to process what the fuck he was saying, I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? Um, and that was probably like I would say like 2000, 2001 ish. Um, I was a freshman in high school, and yeah, no, I think my boy, I used to have a boy, Mark. We're still cool to this day. But he, he was like freestyling, and I'm like, I had one of my other buddies, PJ, and one of my other like, everybody was like, it was like the thing to do. Like, you walk down the hall, and people in the hallway just like battle rapping. You know what I mean? So you would just kind of listen in, and hear people, and I'm like, I'm just thinking to myself, I think I can do that better than them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I felt. That's literally how I felt. So I would practice, and then like I would just battle people, and like like for like to fuck around with it. Like it was never really like serious. We would just be joking, but I was always like mad funny too. So I know what makes people laugh. Like I'm always been real funny. So
Yo, hold on. That's an interesting statement. You might not, you when you use particular language, so when you say certain things, it's gonna be sexier than other things. You know what makes people laugh. Are you willing to elaborate on what you mean by that and how you know what makes people laugh?
yeah. So it's like I feel like I can know I gotta know the person, right? It's there's no cookie cutter way to make everybody laugh, right? Not everybody likes one comedian, or not everybody has the same sense of humor. But some people have a dark sense of humor, and you got to know when to turn that on. Some people have a real slapstick sense of humor, you know. and I think it's just adaptability. You got to be able to adapt. I think
Mm.
is probably the deeper part of that. Where, I know, you got to know your audience. You know what I'm saying? You got to know your audience, and
Yep.
yeah, no, I think a lot of it is again just always kind of like, for example, have you ever heard of like the bird like personality test? I've done it in sales before, but it was
Yeah.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's it. There's basically four main birds, and the eagle, owl, dove, peacock, and you just got to know who you're talking to. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's
And
big
you got to be able to
interesting.
adapt to that.
Yo, because everybody can like really fuck with what he's saying here. If I'm understanding correctly, it's a matter of just mapping out the base personality types you may encounter, assessing what is the room I'm fucking with, and playing to those boundaries. And why I think that's super nifty is because I watched that Bodied movie. Because, battle rap was confusing to me. I didn't fully understand it. Bodied is that Eminem produced battle rap movie. And part of that, they
Mm-hmm.
have this conversation about how, in a lot of ways, if you're playing to a live audience with no footage, you want to play to the audience and treat it more like comedy. But if you're playing to YouTube, make sure you're smart, you know? Because, like, it matters so much, right? But, like, so much of it
It
turns
does.
into this game of expectation management. What's going to land? What's going to work? And if you're in person in that room, you have to make sure these people get your bars. Otherwise, you're not getting that crowd reaction. So you can come in and drop some soup. And they used one of this guy that was like a huge example of it, and the crowd just kept missing over and over again. I think they were goofing a bit on Daylight, but like in general, when the crowd doesn't understand it, they don't react to it. That's the truth about things in that in live environment. So it becomes that game. So when I hear you talking about a battling environment and leveraging comedy, because let's be real, comedy is a huge part of how you win that shit. Based on crowd reaction, it just again shows and validates what you meant earlier when you say you're real calculated. And so I think it's worth pointing that out.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, it's knowing your audience, it's knowing where and you have to, right? If you want to win and you want to be victorious, nobody's going in something like that to lose. I don't battle anymore, just because like that was a cool thing to do. Like I'm not against battling. I like it. I would still battle. I'll probably battle somebody eventually, but like it's just I would rather do, like, to me it's like dope. It's a respect thing. That's like you're fighting for respect. Obviously they have battle leagues for money and shit like that, and um but like for me it was like I always wanted to do more. I want to be more than that, and not to say one's better than the other. It's all perception. But I want to make music. I want to network. I want to fuck with people that, like, oh, okay, like this is dope. I like this. I could hear myself on this. So and network and get to know them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
The battle is dope.
I feel like battling, and again, everyone out there in the world, I'm a little ignorant on the subject, so my opinion's trash. I just like to put that out because people need to know that your opinion isn't worth much on a subject when you have one. Um, and when it comes to battle rap, the best I see it as it's more like sports. It's a sports
It's a
thing.
completely different genre. You're right. It's like, so like, it's basketball and football, man. Like they're both dope. They're both real dope. They're the same. They're like cousins, like direct cousins. You know what I mean? And yeah, no, I think it's definitely something where it's an acquired kind of skill. You got to be able to like handle pressure. You got to be able to think with, like, there's a whole element to battle rap that, like, shout out to anybody who fucking does that. I ain't hating on it. I'm just saying that what I'm trying to do, ain't that. Because again, it is one of the dudes I came up with, my boy Ray's. He's a battle rapper, and and he fucks with the music too, but like that's like his primary like mo. And yeah, nah, I mean, like, again, it's just a completely different genre, and I just got to a point where I was like, nah, I don't want to do this.
How long did you
I
do it
want
for?
to.
Did you do it like past high school?
Nah, 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 nah.
Okay.
I've done it on stage a couple of times. I've won, I've lost, and I'm just like, this is whack.
I feel you. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like it personally, but that's me. I would kindness battle any motherfucker. You want to compliment me and I have to compliment you, my guy? I'm fucking going in. I will make you
Yeah, nah,
sound
like
better than
so
that.
like I like it. Like
But
I
like
could
for
watch it
me,
all day. But
I don't
like for
know that
me,
I
what
can
wins is
handle.
comedy and creativity.
I
You
don't
know what I
know
mean?
that I
Like,
can handle people in my face like that. I watch it and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna literally get in my face and try to intimidate me and shit. What if I cower? I might cower. These are the thoughts I think about. I'm like, I want to fucking cower on stage being filmed in battle rap land. That's how you get roasted.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, like for me, it's just like that. You just shut off. I could be a Stone Cold Rock dude and
Mm.
just not even, you know what I mean? I'm just one of those guys. But everybody's different, man.
Yeah, I respect
Um,
it. I respect it. I've become a huge. I started talking to battle rappers on this journey because my dude is really connected to the New York City scene. So I got to talk to like Iron Solomon, and I got Mickey Fax, Poison Pen, and a couple other people. And I learned a lot in the last few months about it. And I fucking come to really love spectating it. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
don't think I
You're
want to.
not,
I'm a songwriter. That's what I do.
yeah, yeah. Again, man, it's all the same thing, man. It's all the same genre,
Mm.
same creativity. You know, it's just like b-boy and a DJ and a graffiti. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's
I
just
love
part
it.
of the. It's like the fifth element, man. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I feel like almost.
Anyway, I love these tangents. This is why my shit takes forever, but people get to see how smart
So,
you are on a whole lot of subjects, and there's 21 people sticking with us. My numbers are killing it right now, and this is because you're very interesting. I promise you that, Five. They like you. Um,
appreciate y'all right.
so already by the time you've done high school, then you've done backyard wrestling, which is crazy because that's crazy experience. You already done battle raps. That's already crazy because you done already got all this stuff going on. So you're already practicing like crazy. I don't know if you're a fan of the 10,000 hours to perfection theory or to get good or whatever. But like that's
Mhm.
serious shit. That's a lot of time you've clocked as a teenager acquiring your game. Are you writing songs at this time too?
Absolutely, yeah. I have a shitload of songs. I'm just waiting for the right time. The right time, what should have been last year when I started kind of popping a little bit, but I wasn't prepared. So and that's it, man. But yeah, no, I'm working still. I got a lot of shit coming. Trust me.
I do. I've seen you whip shit out of your ass that sounds real great.
Thanks, man. Nah, yeah, I'm just trying. I'm trying to work on like kind of just perfecting the craft, man, and just being able to take the bars, but also show kind of the character and creativity. Because, like I said, I could be, I'm like Batman, dude. I can be whatever Gotham needs me to be. So, nah, I'm playing with you, but in all seriousness, it's just kind of what I've been doing a lot, honestly, is listening to a lot of new artists and like artists that sell what their content is, what their flow is, what different people. Again, it's just kind of understanding what people listen to and what they like. Um, is a huge part of trying to expand a network. If you're just saying the same shit everybody else is saying, nobody's gonna give a fuck. And then on top of it, if you're an asshole, now nobody's really gonna give a fuck. So, you know, that's just like the way I look at it. Like your
Man,
character is
that is
everything.
knowledge nuggets. Hold on, I gotta use my knowledge nuggets emote. That is the biggest shit, man. No, dude, you don't
But
understand.
like, yeah, it's true though, man.
I
Like,
had to like go. I don't know when you like started for real. We haven't got there yet, but I started for real in 2012, and I'm the kind of guy talking about how Hobson's the greatest dude in the world and shit. So like I had
I'm
a
fucking
certain stick up my ass about certain things too. I'm a big old Lil Wayne and Drake hater at this time, and I spent many years being a fucking hater. And then at a certain point, I realized I like Drake. I like all this shit. I really do. It's actually kind of fun to listen to. And maybe a lot of other people like them for reasons. And I started studying music in a sense, right? And so hearing you say that, it's like it's the most important thing if you want to be an accessible artist that people in general, because somebody put it to me best. If your song's playing and people's vibing and they don't know it's you, it's like the biggest gift in the world. That means your shit's just flawless. Like they're not paying it. It just fits in. It's perfect.
right.
That's what
Yeah, no,
Drake and
and
them
I
do.
think that no matter what, like you're always if you find that if you're like an artist and you find that nobody's playing, you're like I can promise you that there are definitely more people now today bumping my shit than there were a year ago, but I can also tell you that there's not nearly enough to be not enough. You know what I mean? Like you just it's never enough, so you just got to always want more, man. And if you're stuck and you're just spinning your tires and you're not going anywhere and you're trying to get up a hill, it's like, okay, it's okay to go in reverse, get your fucking footing, put the car in fucking drive and back up and get some traction. And it's like, you got to take a step back to go forward. And sometimes that might not even be a step back. It means, it could mean just looking at fishing in a different pond, like, change your audience, or change your content, or maybe don't put something out for a second. And you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, like a lot of times, like if I'm entering a contest or something, it's really this. So the Breaking Records contest, man, like those bars, I didn't write specifically to that beat. What I like to do a lot is just, I see a page, right, and I just put bars that I have over whatever beat it is, because I want to be heard. Like I want people to listen to me, and gain exposure. That's what it's about to me. Winning is great. Money's great, but like I want people to hear me so I can get more of that. And it's like, that might sound selfish, but like that's the fucking goal.
That's
like,
exactly
you know what I'm saying?
why I entered it. I didn't do this to win. Like I never did a single contest to win. It was always the same thing. You know what I got? Instagram post. You know what happened? A lot of people fuck with me different because like they saw I was doing shit. So then I started my own contest. But people had seen I was doing all these contests. It was just like you should always do something with a real goal. And trying to win a contest is a gambling goal. Not to say 100%. You shouldn't want to win competitive side.
Your goal should be to get better every time, right? But like, not again, not everybody has the same goals. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Some people, this might be their release, and that's the beauty of it, man. It's like, some people aren't trying to take it to the next level. Like me, I don't need to be on. Like I have a goal, which is to make a living off of making music, whether that be being an engineer. Like the more irons you have in your fire, the better off you are. The chances of me making it as an engineer or a producer or somebody behind the scenes is significantly higher than me making it off of me rapping. That's the way, like that, you just got to look at it, because there's more opportunities there.
Fiscal opportunities.
But and it's not to say that they're out there, but like again, percentage wise, again, I'm just calculating. It's like iRobot.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Dude, I had to pivot.
Like, conservative.
Like, it wasn't like I sat there 5 years ago and said, I'm going to be a guy that sits there and does interviews a lot. Like, this was it. But then I realized, you know what I can do to grow my brand? I can go market myself differently, but also learn a lot about other people's journeys and try to cherry pick the best shit I hear over the next 3 years and then apply it to my own shit. So it was just a way to like whatever. But it started really working. It worked so much I had to backburner my music. Like, you know what? If I really want to get more listens, I got to pay attention to what will actually get me buzz in life, which is different than maybe other people's shit. And so I really love what you're saying, because you're spitting some serious facts about how to actually maneuver, playing to your strengths within this game. It's like really fucking fascinating.
Yeah, man. It's you see people who know the maneuvering part and they suck at rap, but they're a lot further than somebody with all the talent in the world that don't know how to maneuver. So you gotta have both. And it's like, but like before, you only gotta have both if you know what you want to do and where you want to go. If you don't want to do that, then that's fine. But you know what I mean? If you want to do it, it's fine. But if you ain't putting in the work, that's not fine. So putting in the work doesn't mean putting out a song a week or an album or drop whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Again, man, I'm old, so like the beauty of music is this ain't the NFL.
Yo, you gotta understand. I'm your age, and I call myself old all the time, and everybody older than me gives me shit. So hearing you say it, my guy, man of my own heart. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, man, fuck it. I mean, like, I like, whatever, old, young, however, a 70-year-old person will call me a baby, right? But like, it's all perception. But just in terms of
not young.
Joyner Lucas, right? This is a dude I fuck with and kind of like right up my alley. This dude is like 31, 32 years old. Like, he just got popping. Like, Benny the Butcher, this dude's like 38 years old. Like, again, this ain't the NFL. You can start a career off and make a living, and you can still work for,
at least in this era. This era allows for that in a way that the gatekeeping has changed, because that wasn't viable until like Spotify got grandma wanting to bump new shit and whatever, and a whole lot has changed that makes this possible. Yo, because I fucks with everything you're saying. You're saying all the shit that I think is super real. It's really cool to hear you say it.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Nah, and it's true, man. I mean, we're also from that like era where it's like, like you said, man, we went from playing fucking, Super Nintendo and Mario Kart and N64 and Turok to fucking Twitch, like talking to each other like in different countries.
It's so
what I'm saying? So like, we're part of that era. Some people look at we talked about wrestling. There's people out here like adults now who look at The Rock and think he's an actor. It's like, nah, he's a fucking wrestler. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
So it's like,
yo,
it's
hold up,
all it's
hold
all
up, hold up. I gotta interrupt you again because of money reasons. Golden
not
Jenny
so
from Norway resubscribed to the channel, which is fucking cool. Subscriptions are like literal dollars on YouTube. So I mean, not on YouTube, on Twitch. On YouTube, they're
good.
not. So shout out fucking Golden Jenny because that's beautiful.
That's what's up. What's her name? Golden Jenny. Shout out Golden Jenny.
That's it. And she's from Norway,
Yo, would it
learning
be
all
yo?
about
Matter of
five.
fact, yo, is it okay if we take like a 5 minute break real quick?
Yeah, always. I used that beat, and then I heard him on that beat, and I'm like, my verse sucked.
Nah, I appreciate it, man.
Nah, but dude,
Thank you.
that's dope because you're on that track, which I can fucking fucks with. And technically, that can squeeze through to my Montreal playlist because the homie CB Max, the opener.
Yeah. Shout out to Breaking Records for that, for
Yeah,
breaking that
man.
down. The other artists on that shit. I think Jack H made that beat. I think that shit was dope. And
That's a
I've
great
gotten,
beat.
I've gotten a chance to know those guys and whatnot, and it's dope. Yeah, man, it's I had a lot of fun doing that too. I'm glad that they put that together, like in terms of just getting everybody who killed the beat over it. It was a good opportunity for everybody, exposure, network, all that shit.
That's amazing, man. I mean, it's just, again, the other than obvious English line, how else can I explain it? It's just fucking cool. I like it. We just got that quoted in the comments. It's fucking dope, man.
Mhm.
It was Jack H who produced it from the Breaking Records camp, of which Ismail Kelly Maloney is also part of that squad that we were just talking with very recently on this week. But his phone died, so it ended quite fast. But that's all right. We'll be back with a part two. But your story, like, honestly, you've done a lot of cool to recent, and then we talked a lot about the high school. But what happens after high school for you? Are you still involved in the music?
Yeah, I think that was probably when I got most involved into music because it was like, okay, high school's over. I can't go battle people in the hallways anymore. Like, and then you started, like I said, I was athletic. I played sports. I knew a lot of people from different cities. Um, whether it be the rich or the poor cities, everywhere in between. And yeah, no, I mean, you just kind of just something that just I just gravitated to. Meeting people just in terms of doing music. On the producing side, I met producers. And then there's like open mics and shows, and you start going to those a little bit, and you're shy and timid at first, and then you start talking to people, and um, you just network and grow, man. And that's that. But like at that point, I was like, okay, I need to be able to see what I can do with this. And that was when I was probably the most into it. That's when I like actually started getting in the booth and like recording shit, like an actual booth, not like on the microphone on my computer and shit. But
That's dope. So this is like 18-ish, 19-ish, or is it a little bit later?
yeah, probably like 18, like 17, 18. I was always like the youngest in my class. My birthday's in December, so I was probably like 17, 18, about that.
Yeah, that's fresh. So now we're back on the story. We have a couple of questions from the comments that we could just get out the way because Seeb Dread's like, get to the questions. And I forgot that they had questions. It is what it is.
Yeah, no doubt.
How did you come up with five? And this is from Ismail Gadamsi.
Yeah, thanks, Esmail. So I used to be called J5. Um, and yeah, it was kind of when I was a freshman in high school. My boy to this day, his name is Jesse Medeiros. He was a senior, and he was shout out Jesse, and he was just like one of them funny dudes. Always kicked out of class in trouble. It was like a bullshit like arts class or whatever we were in, and yeah, he was just like a real funny dude, and he would just call me Johnny Five. And I had two of my real close friends in that class with me, and that was like the inside joke crew. And they always called me Johnny Five, and then I went to J5, and then it just kind of stuck. Once I started rapping, it was like, oh, that's five, that's five. Um, and then once I stopped rapping for a little while, I dropped the J. And like once I came back, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be five. Like J5 to me is like, I think of Jurassic 5. I think of like the movie Short Circuit. I think I'm like, J5's corny, but yeah, that's how it came about. just
That's
kind of stuck.
fresh. It's a good name. Um, but what about the next question, which I realized, but what about's a bad transition. But Seeb Dread had a question, and he's like, "You forgot about me, motherfucker." And I'm like, "I did. My bad. It's hard to be a host sometimes. Sorry, folks. I'm a terrible host.
Got
I
you, Steve.
also found out I'm a bad list maker when I host this shit, and so I'm not good at this. I'm just learning." Um, but Seeb Dread wants to know. Hold on, I have to fucking scroll. KRS-One or Scarface, and why? Which one would you prefer?
That's I can't. Those are like really like two perfect artists. So KRS was somebody for me that I thought he was creative and dope, but I fucking hate him. I hate like as a person. Like I just think that he's just somebody that like thought he was way nicer than he was. And that's just my blunt, honest opinion. I respect KRS-One, and I can bump KRS-One. Scarface, I think, was like a little bit more of like he kept it real and like anime. Like KRS-One was just so animated. You know what I'm saying? Like everything he did was just like you know what I'm saying. Scarface was just like that. Like it's like Beanie Siegel and like I mean Hobson. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's a really egregious kind of comparison, but just to kind of give you an idea of what I think.
No,
So for
actually,
me,
I fucks with your comparison too. I was just thinking like, I can't talk to my mother, so I talk to my dad. You know, like that kind of like laid
yeah,
back,
just
kind of
like
gangster
you
vibe.
vibe
Which
with it.
is,
I would say,
because they're
with that
also
being
both
said,
really good storytellers, right? But they're so
yeah,
different with it. It's a good question, Steve. I fucking like that question actually.
yeah, no, it is. It's two very interesting artists because they're not two artists that I think would be in a lot of people's disrotation today. With that being said, like I said, I don't KRS just bothers me, like hits that nerve. But I would say KRS probably had more of an influence on my career because I respect KRS. I respect the hell out of KRS.
Mm,
And what he's done for the game, and he's made a name for himself, and he's a household name. Everybody knows who KRS-One is, um,
that's
and
fair.
Scarface too. But for the people who are in this chat right now in this room, and we know who Scarface is, but you ask somebody who Scarface is, they're gonna think of Al Pacino on the street. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. You have
And
to
that's
really know about some shit. I mean, maybe here, maybe or in your place too. I'm sure in Houston that's not the case. Is all I'm saying. Um,
yeah,
he was actually running for office at one point, so he definitely did a recent political campaign. Which big ups to him for like trying to use his platform in that direction. But
um,
KRS-One was a huge influence on me because I read the Gospel of Hip Hop, which is
yep,
836 pages long, of effectively KRS-One. He basically wrote like his version of the Bible and like turned hip hop in. Like it's weird. It's a weird read
yep.
that makes me empathize with why you dislike him. But I have to admit the book was influential and it helped me change my perspective on community.
Yeah, no, and again, it's just like I don't know. I know there's a lot of people who probably feel the same way I do. I know, well, I guess I would say I would bet that I'm probably in the minority feeling that way. But a person like Kanye is a perfect example of a modern day KRS for me. Like, I
I'm with
fuck with
you.
Kanye. I could bump his music. I think he's very creative. I think that his influence on the game is amazing. I fucking hate Kanye, and like I've hated him before. It was cool to hate him. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't use hate, right? That's a strong
I like
word. Like
Kanye
I
more.
just there's things that, and the weird thing is like I do too. Like I like Kanye, I respect Kanye. I don't hate him. I hate how he moves sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta be super fucking humble and Tom Brady all the time. I'm cool with talking a little shit, but I think like yo, again, I always go back to the phrase: when you're good at something, you're gonna tell everybody. Like when you're great, they're gonna tell you. Now I know numbers don't lie. People have told Kanye West and KRS-One they're great, but I don't know. I
I
think that
sincerely think Kanye West will be running for presidency in a few in 2028. Like this is just all a play in my
I mean at this point it's like it's just like a celebrity like fucking show. Might as well just air it on NBC and have like a president show like every Friday.
but like on the other hand, he flipped a bankruptcy into $3 billion in like a year.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not like
Uh,
I don't know like Sure, he's gotta like look. I don't want to go like too deep on the Kanye train, but I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think he's like as out there. As, like, he says some preposterous shit in terms of framing of word choice more than framing of intention. And I think we vilify word choice more than intention. Like we don't actually listen to the intention. We go, he said what? And then it doesn't go that much deeper. But when you really like look at like the other 57 tweets, you can kind of get an idea of what he's trying to say.
Yeah, no, it's I get it, and to a degree, like he's we're talking about him right now, right? So he's doing something right. And he's a phenomenal producer. I fuck Kanye's beats like crazy, crazy.
Amazing.
I even fuck with his music, but like I just sometimes I look at an individual not on the mic, and I'm like, I don't care how nice you are on the mic. I don't like the way you move. I don't fuck with it.
I
You know what I
like
mean?
that
So like,
though. No, that's super
and
sincere.
and it's like that's just me again, me being real. I don't think that anybody, but like there's also people who are like dead, the diehard Kanye fans, and you say something like that, or diehard anybody fans, right? And you say something you don't like about them, they're like, no, 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 no. It's like I respect how you feel about anybody. You can like who you like. That's the beauty of this shit. Nobody's top five is going to be everybody's top five, but
Facts.
that's just the way I look at it.
No,
But
I
to
like
answer
the
your
way you
question,
look
man,
at it.
that's the long answer. To answer your question shortly is KRS One over Scarface for me.
Dude, that is like a great answer. That Steve Dread liked it. This is what people dig, man. People like fuck with these kinds of answers. They really do. Because we get to see how you think. And that's the cool part.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, like everybody, has like the diversified. I'm not reading this comment, diversified top five. You're right. I think that like, um, there's a consensus top five, and then there's a personal top five, right? And it's
Mm.
like, the consensus top five is like you can take, album sales, skill, quality, flow, delivery, content, whatever you want, and throw it in there. And then there's your personal top five. So you might have people like fucking Sean Price, Lloyd Banks, like people who had major influence on you as a person. You don't have to be a rapper. Music hits everybody. So, yeah, no, I like that too. I think everybody has a different top five. So.
Yeah, that's fresh. So yeah, we're just reading. I don't even have tops anymore. I just have artists I like and artists I don't feel so much, which is kind of where I'm at with that shit. I don't know how to do it, but I also did some weird shit like listen to a lot of music. Now I'm trying to listen to a lot of my city's music, and it's like it's just when you actually try to follow music and you try to bump 3 albums a week, 4 albums a week, whatever, all of your friends' shits, and you actually try to, it's like you can't have favorites anymore. It's just what's the vibe and certain times of day I listen to different kinds of music. And that's the truth of the situation. In the morning
Oh yeah,
I need some nice
absolutely.
like black eyed peas because it makes me feel like the day is gonna be better. Okay? Like it just that's the impact it has on me now. And
Now you're right.
then later on in the day, okay, now I need some fucking give me some fucking hard shit because I'm at work or whatever.
Yeah, man. Music is emotion, man. That's literally what it is, and that's what So many times you can think of a significant point in your life where you look back and it's like a song sticks out or puts you in a certain spot. It's nostalgic. That's why we love music. You don't have to be a rapper or producer or be involved. You can just be a fan, man. And you can even not be a fan, but like subconsciously, whether you know it or not or admit it or not, that music is part of you, and it you know when you go work out or go to the gym, you put on music. Like you said, when you wake up and you're going to work, you put on music. When you're on your way home from a shitty day, you put on music. When you're in love, you put on music. When you break up, you put on music. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a song for every emotion that you have in your body, and we connect with it. And that's again, the successful ones know their audience, man, and that's what it's all about, is knowing your audience.
Ooh,
That's my opinion anyway.
your opinion is basically real shit though. Like, listen, I'm not saying like I'm the most insanely cool motherfucker in the world, but like I do talk to a lot of people, and it is kind of in all of our vested interest to do some foundational. I like that comment. Hold on, I don't even rate Montreal like that. I just suppose any of them. Period. I know way too many, and these way too many I don't even know, and I respect that shit. There's like a real ecosystem presentation issue in a lot of cities. Just to like respond quickly to that, but early morning Metallica is a good way to get the blood flow. But I prefer 3 6 Mafia to Metallica if I'm in that kind of vibe in the morning personally. But like, I don't know, man. This is it's a, yeah. I got distracted by that Montreal comment. I don't even remember what I was saying right before that. I'm not even gonna lie. Uh, no, but it's crazy, like, cause people like have all these different vibes with the music, and they have all these different ways of interpreting it. But connecting with your audience and knowing who your audience is kind of key. Like, I have to respect and respond to like what parts of the conversation are gonna light up a little bit more than others, and try to take note of that. Okay, people fucks with this shit more, and it's all like, like, what, something that was weird to me is when people were like, stand-up comics were going on about how, like, without laughter in their audience, they could never figure out how a joke's funny. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true. Like, there's so many other ways to like find out if your joke is funny and shit. And like, there's just so many ways to connect, and so many different platforms and ways of running through this. And it's like, I feel like the way you approach it is just so smart. Like, you probably, like you said, you're listening to a lot of pop music now just to understand it. Like, you know how many people just refuse to do that?
Yeah, no, you can't. And I think that if you're in a spot right now where you look at it, like, because I believe me, I'm like, oh, I fucking hate Lil Wayne, I fucking hate Ti. Like, I was immature, like, in that regard, like, I was a grown man at that point, but like,
Yeah, I'm with
and
you.
musically, or just my mind, I was closed minded. You can't be closed minded. You gotta understand. Again, you don't have to be, right. If all you're trying to do is talk some shit and rap bars over shit, you can do, but like, if you want to have a business mindset of it, this industry is like 20% talent and 80% business. So if you want to do something with it, then you got to understand that shit. If you don't, that's fine, but pick a lane, don't stay in the way, is the way I look at it. And don't try to be like, if you're really trying to make it, you gotta play the part, you know what I'm saying? So everything means something. I've grown so much. Like, I'll give you a real good example. Obviously, with coronavirus, there's no like open mics or shows or anything, but when I was younger, like 18, going to an open mic or something like that, I would walk in the venue and I would see like 6 7 people in there, and I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking whack. What am I here for? There should be a million people here, I should be famous, right? Like that's just how an 18-year-old MC thinks. And now it's like, if I went to a venue as to an open mic, I'm taking what I can get out of, like, I'm practicing my presence, my pronunciation, my breaths. Like, I'm practicing something. I don't give a fuck if there's 0 people in there versus a million. You know what I'm
Spit
saying?
those facts.
Everything is perception. You got to try to find the silver lining and see what you can learn from it and grow. That's why
Also,
you never lose. You the win or learn. That's it.
if you do have interest in coming to freestyle, we throw in a fucking weekly cipher now on Tuesdays when motherfuckers is busting raps on the Zoom call. And because it's all freestyles, it just sounds dope because it's not like songs, and it works.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Freestyling is something that's like a lost art, and there's not too many really good freestylers. Like, when I think of like people who are nice at freestyling, obviously, there's people who can do it, and maybe you kick a good freestyle, but like people who can do it consistently and hop on here and blow your mind, like there's like Mr. Liff, Acrobatic. Them are the 2 dudes who, like, are like, close to me, that I listened to. Supernatural was like one. Them dudes used to freestyle off the top. That was like how you made your name back in the day. But now it's like it's all written,
I
which is
know
okay.
this.
I'm fine with
And I'm saying it like straight up on Tuesdays. I'm the one throwing this event, so I can attest for this one.
that. Yeah,
Everybody's off the doming it. Why? Because we're making like little conversational. We want to debate topics via freestyles, so you can't have
yeah,
writtens. I mean, you may have it. Like sometimes I heard a dude drop a bar here. I'm like, I know where you got that bar from. But like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm not
Nah,
saying
yeah,
like, and I'm saying this is just an example of like an event that exists because already my audience, the guys that I know, are like, I would love to see fiVe rap there. And I'm like, that's dope. Because five's dope. But I'm just saying there
yeah,
are a few things that are starting to pop up because that like the real life stuff is gonna come back for sure at some point. But in the meantime, I got bored waiting, so I'm like, what can we do on Zoom? Zoom's dope. Zoom lets us do it. If you rapped with that sound quality over any beat right now, I'm busted. Writtens, off the domes, whatever. As long as you weren't trying to make it studio, it was gonna sound dope. It's as long as we just kind of play to the live amateur side of it, is fucking an amazing experience, man. Like, we sat there for 3.5 hours for the last 4 Tuesdays doing this, dude, and we're booked up, and more beat makers are throwing beats in, and it's like a vibe. So I don't know, man. I think because you can't get away with playing the track and rapping over it on COVID because we can't solve latency. We can't figure it out. None of us can, at least. I've tried for like almost a year. So the only solution for me to produce a show is for motherfuckers to go off the dome.
Yeah. No, man. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can, network, promote your brand, so forth. Especially, in this kind of Corona / COVID era. It's you can. I've seen a lot of contests being run. I've seen a lot of producers running contests for beats. I've seen. I've noticed, and I think it's a smart strategy, right? But I think other people are starting. I noticed a long time ago. I think other people are starting to pick up. People usually run contests when they have something to promote for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Which is great. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I got no problem with
exactly
that.
why I fucking started a contest.
Yeah. No, if you listen, if I'm going to drop an album, I'll run a contest. You get more people in, and it's a win-win because the fans win and the people and the artists win, and you win because you gain a collective. So it's a great strategy. I'm not hating on it. In other words, but I think that it's because I'm not a hater. That's why I'm not hating on it. There are haters who will hate on that strategy, and once it starts getting kind of watered down, people aren't gonna, you might only have a short window, in other words, unless you keep it entertaining and keep changing it up and adapt. It's adapt or perish. You know what I mean?
I think it depends entirely on what you hope to get out of contests. I
Right.
do not
Exactly.
have the same end goal of most people with my contest. Actually, KRS One said from that book, pay your community and they will carry you.
Yeah.
I'm mostly focusing on Montreal, and I'm handing out a budget of X number of dollars this year directly into the hands of rappers at a karmic level. That's gotta be like cool for me sometime. There's no other gain. Nobody does it like that. And yeah, my name and brand is everywhere. I worked out the numbers. It's cheaper to do this than playlists. So if the playlist game is as expensive as it fucking is, if the social media is, this is a cooler way. I get to hand people money. You know what I really enjoy is that story of them accepting my e-transfer. Like that's a boss move in my opinion.
Yep.
I don't know if that's what everyone's motivations are, but I listened to Griselda. They taught me about bossing. I'm 33. What the fuck else am I supposed to be doing with my life except being a boss?
Yeah, man. Nah, I think it's dope. I think that no matter what, man, above everything else, above money, because like I'm not one of these that like, yes, I like money. I understand money controls the world. There's money in happy people hands and in evil people hands, but I think that like happiness is what drives me. You know what I mean? So it's not about I need 40 followers tonight versus 20 yesterday, or I need $10 today versus the 5 I had yesterday. It's about just loving what you do and not fucking dreading what you do for a living and going into work, you know what I mean? Or if you do, right, having something like this where you get to have a show, meet interesting people, and kind of put your thoughts.
Dude, you don't understand. I'm blessed as fuck with my day job. I just got promoted without the raise.
Dope. Congratulations, it's dope.
Yeah, so now there's 3 Ukrainian people that are gonna report to me, and my job is now more to enable them to be smart, and so I can learn from them. That's my new job, is to teach them how to teach me how to be smart.
That's dope.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do if you're a leader in a company. I watched this fancy video on empathy that explained it better, but I'm trying to take my leadership role more than I want to be like not like a boring, shitty boss that cares about numbers and crap, but like.
Yeah, no, you can't coach the numbers, man. You got to coach the behaviors. I mean, that's like the biggest thing. It's like everybody everybody learns differently. First of all, everybody operates differently. So as a leader, you got to be able to understand, again, just like your audience, man. Know your audience, know your people. How do they learn? How are they interpreted? You know what I mean?
Facts. I'm a fan of education. That's why I spend so much time talking about the shit I do on here. Is because I know that people watching this like learning. You're not here if you're not somewhat curious. That's what I love about my audience.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And I think that we're, it's dope to be able to connect with people who think on the same level and have the same goals and similar interests and stuff like that. But I think that like we're just in a society, I'm learning that like you got to push the envelope, but like before, like if you could picture like a scale, right? It used to be like this. You could push the envelope anywhere from here to here. Now it's like here. And if you go outside these lines, like you're just forever. That's it. We're in a completely different era, man. And it's like dudes like Michael Jordan, right? Obviously, shout out Michael Jordan. Fuck. But Michael Jordan would not be Michael Jordan if he played in today's era because of what he did outside of the court and everybody having a phone in a casino. Like, you think that, you log on Facebook and see Michael Jordan was at the casino 4:30 in the morning before an NBA Finals game. Like, he wouldn't be fucking Michael Jordan today. And it's because everything that you do is under a microscope. So everything Michael Jordan did would be under a million microscopes. So it's just like, again, man, you got to adapt to perish, man. You got to be able to do the right thing, say the right thing. Any single thing that you say, and you're done. That's it. You get one shot, and there's not a lot of wiggle room. So, that's just the way I look at it, man. Like, so many people, I should say, so few people have zero blemishes on their resume nowadays, and it's okay. Like, it's okay to not, everybody's got fucking skeletons, and everybody's got issues they're dealing with. It's just tough, man. It's tough. It's a tough era that we're in, and I think social media, man. Social media is like the best and worst thing that's ever happened to all of us. And I genuinely believe that.
Yo, I would look at it like we're going through the start of the third phase of industrialization. And I mean that with reference to the other two phases of industrialization we learned about in history class. Why? There were three factors that play into it. I don't fucking remember them, but the last one was achieved with COVID where some great change happened. And I don't think we go back. I think we just develop a new normal that'll make more sense than the current one. And that includes social media. Like, we just unlocked a Pandora's box of internet access, and I think a lot of us had this big 20-year learning curve, which is kind of what happened with the telegraph, and is what happened with all the shits, right? Society got fucked right up. And I think in a lot of ways, but like, we also got to remember shit like the concept of individuality, that we understand it with the freedoms to be able to choose things like the way that we can. This shit was like invented by capitalism 100 years ago, like, or a little bit whatever ago, like, it's not like this is how it was for history for all time. Basically everything we're doing is a giant social experiment for like all of what we're doing, is how I like to look at it. So there are no real hard rules. If I gotta put a him he in my Twitter because it shows solidarity with some folk, then fuck it. Why am I not gonna do it? Who the fuck cares? It'd be silly for me to argue with the trends of the future.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, man. I mean, we're forever adapting, forever changing. It's just like an earthquake, right? Sometimes you get like a 3.5, sometimes you get an 8.9. Like, this is an 8.9 to society. Like, we are fucking shocking the way we do business and live. You know what I mean? So it's I got a daughter, man. She just started kindergarten this year, and we're in almost in March, and she hasn't ever met her school teacher in person. We took her school. Hell, actually, with a capital H.
Can you expand on that? Because I'm a non-parent, which
yeah,
I don't know. I don't get to hear a lot about what it's like to actually hear about it is to be a parent of somebody who's the kids. I know it'd be weird, but like, a lot of people don't know what that is right now. But it's a real thing that's affecting the bigger conversations in our cities that I don't know a damn thing about.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And like, credit to my wife, who I believe she's still watching right now. Hi, Brett. But like, she really kind of like holds down the distance learning and is like uploading, my daughter's like homework and like coloring pages at like 9:00 at night on the app and stuff like that. And really just kind of like making sure that she gets her shit done. Like, it's responsibility, extra responsibility for my wife, right? It's extra responsibility for the teacher. There are things that you can't learn in distance learning. You know what I mean? Or maybe you can, but like, it just takes a little bit more time.
What's an example of that? Because like, I couldn't answer that. I can't picture it.
Camaraderie, I think, is probably the biggest thing. When you don't have mom and dad or somebody you're familiar with, who you going to latch on to? Who does your energy kind of go to? Who's going to be your friend for life, Right now, they're just people on a computer. You haven't seen anybody. She don't, and to be honest with you, a lot of that answer to the question we won't know until she's older, right? I mean, she's the first generation of a class that has had to start school and their journey through grade school and middle school and all that, high school, from a computer. So, we took her school picture, of like her first day of school picture in bed, and she's got like her little coffee cup with like some milk in it, and her laptop and stuff. But yeah, man, no, it's just like, she'll look back at that one day and be like, yeah, this was me. I get to do it. If I'm being selfish, it sucks for me and my wife, man, because like that was like something we talked about. We talked about being able to, it was like a milestone. Oh, we get to see her off on her first day of school. She's gonna make so many friends, and who's she gonna be like, And yeah, man, it sucks. Like, she's fucking halfway through her kindergarten year, and she hasn't. She got friends. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, she talks to them. They do whatever. But COVID is just fucked it up, man. Like, I feel bad for her. You know what I mean? Because like, you want to give your kids the life you never had. I think that's like the ideal feeling of a parent. But I can tell you what, she's getting that. She's getting the life I never had, because this is something I feel bad sometimes. My son's 3, so he don't really know what's going on as much as she does. But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. We're just in a different world, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Yo, I appreciate you taking the time to answer that, because again, I think the goal that I'm trying to do is to make sure that people see the different sides of five, and that you are an interesting, diverse individual with a multitude of things going on, because that's real important for your brand, regardless to what your brand may actually be. But yeah, that story about like not getting that moment and so cherished, like that hit me in the feels, man. Yo, I appreciate you stills, man. Yo, your fucking life is not boring. Like, we didn't even talk about anything in your 20s though, so I don't know what you did in your 20s.
Yeah, man. So yeah, nah, I was a waiter for a little while. I worked at the grocery store for a little while around here. I stopped rapping for a little while, and it was basically, a lot of reasons, man. A lot of reasons. Here I am, 23. The confidence was one thing. I wasn't confident in myself. I looked at people who I had thought at the time were like better than me, doing it better than me, that weren't even on. And again, we're in a different generation, right? We're talking about like giving CDs out at like local shows and shit. But I'm like, man, if they ain't doing nothing, how the hell can I do it? You know what I mean? I knew I could be better, and I knew I could do it, and I still haven't proved that, right? But my point is, confidence was an issue. I wanted to start a family. I knew I always wanted to do that. I wanted to be able to, have children and kind of do the family thing. And looking back, I don't regret it. I definitely don't live with regret. I wouldn't trade it, I should say. I think everybody has a little bit of regrets, but I do
Yeah,
wish, it's not like I wouldn't change it, I guess, but I wish I would have did some things differently.
fair
Sure.
enough. So yeah, it definitely is in that low quality range again. It might be worth trying to jump off and jump back on. Okay, great. You're back with us.
How's the audio?
You sound wonderful and crisp again. The short story of what he was saying a little bit before is the man had desires to be a family man and took that shit mad serious, and therefore chose a noble approach that did not compromise the security of his family and the pursuits of his passions. And that's what I took from what you said before.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was something where, like, I always wanted to be able to settle down and do that kind of thing. I fell in love with my wife, and we got married back in 2013, and this is a late night grind, man. There's a lot of hours that are put into it, and when you want to make it work, and it's not that I chose it, my wife over this or something like that. It was just like, you just stop going to shows, and you stop writing, and you take on more responsibility with work, and you start doing real life shit, man, because we got to pay the bills, and maybe I didn't have the business mindset. I had the talent. I've always had the talent and the creativity, but just not the business mindset. And in want to say 2019. Like I literally I just started getting back into this shit. A lot of people don't realize that. Like it's always been in my mind. Like but I stopped from like 2011 to like 2018.
The only
You
reason
know,
I know that you had nothing out before that is because I actively tried to find shit before that and it did not exist.
yeah. There's a couple of shits on my SoundCloud that are like pretty old. I still got bars from like way back when. I throw them over some contest beats every now and then, but you could tell I could tell anyway. Maybe not you guys, but
I, c-
um,
I liked your older stuff. I just want to put that out there. It was quite enjoyable to me. Yo,
yeah,
basically
no,
went
I
down
was
through your whole SoundCloud.
no doubt. Yeah, no, it was it's just growth, man. It's not anything other than that. It's just kind of who your influences are. The vocabulary, the experiences. It all plays a part, man. So,
But like you even did stuff that I would call modern. First of all, you're in your 30s and you just said fuck it and I'm gonna use SoundCloud. Big ups to you, my guy. I know a lot of us in my age group that are not willing to do that. Um, just on myself, I did it because somebody said I only listen to SoundCloud. So I said, oh, that's a fucking big indicator. I should probably not ignore that signal, and I put my shit on SoundCloud. What the fuck do I care? But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, how come you're not on Spotify? That's a good question.
Yeah, so I am. I had put out a recent project called 2025, and it just wasn't the sound that I wanted. There was a lot of like I didn't take my time with it. Like I wanted to put something out so people could be able to find me. But I was listening on Spotify one day, and like some of the shit was great quality. Some of the shit wasn't. I just had a lot of stuff, so I'm like, I need to. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. Once your sound is out there, it's out there. That's what your sound is, So I wanted to make sure that I could put together something. Spotify, you know, I, maybe I just don't treat it like I don't treat it as I should. And you're right, I should. I should probably put a lot of my stuff on Spotify. I feel like Spotify is for like the projects, the official shit.
Nah,
Like
my
this
guy,
is like,
I can give
you know
you
what
a
I mean?
counter argument. I spend
Yeah, yeah.
$15 a month so that I don't have to go anywhere else to listen to music. And it's an inconvenience to my life to have to go to SoundCloud. I'm not trying to like word it like that to be a dick to you in a personal way. I'm trying to frame it in how like marketing people describe user experience, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like I spend money because Spotify's fresh. I play like a playlist, right? Where it's just on Spotify. Like when I go on the bus, I don't want to be switching apps and shit. I just spend money for convenience. And I don't actually care if it's singles or albums. I'm gonna have like times where I listen to an album, but then I heart shit. Those are the things I want to listen to again. An example
Right.
of something I would listen to again, that breaking record shit that has my boy CB Mac and my new homeboy fiVe on the same track. That's delightful for me. That's like a treat. And the guys in the middle or the lady, I think, all these people are fucking, I don't know, people in the middle are fucking dope. So it's like,
Yeah,
but I can play that shit like conveniently fitting into my life with zero extra effort. And that's the
yeah.
thing
No,
about
so
Spotify.
I do have. There's a couple of tracks on there. I just don't have a huge extensive catalog on there. I would say like it wasn't like when I all right, I'm gonna create my platform. Do I want to choose SoundCloud or
Mm,
Spotify? I'm the guy that like created SoundCloud before like Instagram was invented. Like I was on SoundCloud back in like 2010
right, right.
before people like SoundCloud. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I chose SoundCloud. It was like I came back and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't logged into this shit in 15 years. Let me reset my password. Obviously not that long, but point being, nah, like you're right, man. It's SoundCloud's like everything's short lived, man. It comes and
Well,
goes.
that, but the thing is that you can also be there, and then you can also be on Bandcamp, and then you can just also be on more places. It's really
Yeah, yeah.
like, yo,
Well, that's the goal this year, man. Is to really kind of expand and like we talked about when I was younger. Um, Burning tapes and CDs. Like I used to be the person like that would burn people's CDs and sell them for $3, $5 a lunch, whatever. I was always way ahead of technology. Now I feel like I can't fucking keep up. And there's so many apps and streams and podcasts. And it's like I just don't know what people listen to. And I think the answer is everything. So you're right. I think just spreading, just kind of sprinkling the field and seeing where you get the most engagement from, and then just kind of, attacking that. Like TikTok is right now. TikTok's the big thing right now. That's going to be gone. And then there's going to be, Talk Tick that comes out in 2 years. That's going to blow that shit out of the water. That's how it works. Everything just, it's always evolving, forever evolving. So,
That's tough.
yeah, no, it's tough to keep up with, I guess is my point. So, I think my opportunity is, rather than just fucking dismiss it all and say I don't feel like keeping up with it, just ride the wave.
Are you
know
on
what I mean?
TikTok?
So again, I downloaded it. I seen a couple of things of it, and I'm like,
So did you know that there's a bunch of like real people throwing beat challenges around?
yeah.
Or
No,
you just
I
go
mean,
rap on them and shit. Would you do that stuff?
yeah. No, so like, when I first came back and stuff, one of my boys is he's a producer. He makes a lot of beats and stuff locally, and he was like, just give me a 16. I just want a 16. Just give me. I'm like, man, I'm done with rap. Blah blah blah. Like, always be a part of me, but just the grind is, the grind is the toughest part, man. People don't understand. Like, putting out an album sounds like, okay, wow. If I was you, if I had your talent, I'd be putting out 16 track albums every month, and it's like, you gotta understand, it's a fucking grind, man. It's like, I work all day. I got 2 young kids. I gotta be dad. I gotta
Preach
be
that
manager.
shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking grind, man. And it looks easy, but it's not. And you can't just go spit bars and spit 50 bars over an album and expect people to listen all the time. You gotta understand what people are listening to, and it's like, you know what I
Albums
mean?
got
It's like,
mad different rules, right? Because now you got to capture attention over time.
exactly, man. And it's like, what's next, right? And it's like, you always gotta be a step ahead, because if you're not, and it's like, I feel like I like right now, like I wasn't anticipating kind of getting my name out there as quickly as I did. I'm like, okay, it's going to take me a few years to kind of build. And, I think quarantine was the best thing that happened to me, because I was able to kind of get a little bit of a following. I won a couple contests where I was able to be played on Shade 45. And like, and I was like, holy shit, like, I'm fucking being played on Eminem's radio station right now.
Shit.
And I'm like, am I there? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, the bars and talent are confirmed. Now it's like, okay, now it's time to focus on the other part of it, which is, 80 to 90% of it. Like somebody else in the chat said, it's 80 to 90% of the business. So that's the part I really got to strengthen. I got the fucking bars, had them since I was 14, but it's being able to put it all together. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So,
But that's kind of like why we are having these chats with so many people. And like, people have asked me, and I literally had this on YouTube, so if you're watching this, my bad, it's no disrespect, but why are you picking the people you're picking? Like, what fucking random ass shit are you doing? And I'm like, it's not that random to me. It's like, fiVe is at a phase in his journey. What's his like pain points? What's his usage? Where's he at? This guy's at that point in his journey. This guy's an OG legend. This guy's 17. This guy's this, that, And then I just get to sit here and hear all of your stories. That's kind of in line with everything.
No, it's dope, man. It's a good platform. It's a good way for people to, whether or not they're watching it live or they want to go back and check after. It's a good way to, like, we're all here for a reason. We're all here because we like hip hop. We're all here because we like music. We're all here because we like, entertainment, right?
We're all still here because we fuck with fiVe.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And yeah, man, it's all about, progression, man. Like Martin Luther King said, man, no matter whether you walk or you crawl, as long as you're moving forward, you just got to keep moving forward. So sometimes you crawl for a little while, and then other times you sprint fast as hell. Like, I gained a lot of ground last year, so it's like, okay, you don't want to take your foot off the pedal, but again, sometimes you got to sharpen your sword, and you got to sharpen.
That's where you come and do this shit. This is the loophole that most people don't get. Your name still gets out. You got a lot of people like E-Rock is sitting here taking notes. Like, yo, no disrespect, E-Rock, but like, you're taking notes on how cool you are and shit. But E-Rock was also here doing his own thing, right? So E-Rock was sounding great a couple of like weeks ago or whatever. We did our thing, so. He's also fucking cool, and that's what it is.
I fuck with E-Rock, man. He's dope, man.
I fuck with him too.
He always comes with it, man.
He's sitting there like, he sits there on my shit. He's so fucking humble and polite and cordial, and then like the next day on Facebook, he's just at this motherfucker's throat, and I'm like, yo, E-Rock's amazing.
Yeah, now you gotta harness it, and yeah, that's exactly what it's about, man. It's like, like, I'm a mad humble dude. But it's like, you gotta snap. When it's time to snap, you snap.
Mm.
And I think you're right. I think E-Rock does a real good job, a real good job of that. Um, and I think the biggest thing for me, like, and again, like, look, I'm nobody, right? But at the same time, what I would say is, I think just pinpointing kind of when to react. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's
Man, you
I got
might
quotables for
like say you're nobody, but I can think of a lot of people who know your name that want to be you a little bit in certain moments. That's the
well,
truth
I
of
don't
the
want them. I want them to be them. I just want them to listen to my music and
I'm
maybe
framing it a
learn.
certain way on purpose.
Nah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean with respect. But
But I don't mean it
yeah,
like that. Like I've seen so dude, a guy I know starts some beef up into breaking records and you're somehow this catalyst of proof that they're honorable. Okay, like, but like you're
thanks, bro.
there and like people tag you and shit. They want your attention. I see the thirst a little bit that comes your direction a little bit. I'm not saying names or trying to be disrespectful. I think you are the humblest. You're so graceful with it, my guy. I respected you from the jump. Like you're not a guy that was hard
No,
to like.
I appreciate that, man. And then it speaks to character. Some people probably have that same feeling that you have, but it goes in the opposite direction. So look, at the end of the day, like it is what it is. I can't control how other people think. That you're gonna have haters. Haters are confirmation. I'm not one of these people that embraces the haters, and it's look, I just keep it fucking moving. Like,
Mm.
either hop on or hop off, but get the fuck out the way. Like, that's how I look at it. Um,
Yeah, because
and that's just how you got to be. Like, I respect anybody who's doing it. I'm willing to give advice. And I'm telling you right now, like, people, I probably have just as much to learn from people who you might think I'm better than, or vice versa. Like, there's something to learn from everybody.
no,
Everybody
I mean, I'm the right
knows
guy to
someone.
back what you're saying. I'm sitting there talking to 17-year-olds going, what the fuck can you teach me? I don't care about it. I don't look at people's accolades before I book them. I do such a shit job of vetting my guests at this point. I mean, I'm going to do a little bit job of indicating that it's like what it is. But like, I don't give a fuck. You're interesting. Why? Because you lived on the planet. That's just, well,
Yeah, man, that's don't get me down this weed high space while we're here kind of conversation because I go all day. But
nah, but
no,
like,
man,
believe it
I
or
know what you mean.
not, like I would bring you back in the future to do that for 2 hours, no problem. That sounds like a blessed time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No doubt, man. I appreciate it. It's always good to chop it up, and the journey is always fun. It's fun to hear and listen about other people's journeys as well. So
Yeah.
just it's a grind, man. It's always a grind. You just got to keep moving.
On a normal night, I would really run this shit for as long as I could stretch it, but this is more of a bonus episode time frame. So I do want to raid my dude's channel and give him some love and bring the audience over. Is basically what I'm saying because I don't want to steal his buzz a bit. But I
For
love this
sure.
interview. So anybody watching, this is a great time to drop your questions for the last little bit. And for you, five, let us know what's coming in your next little bit as we close this off.
Yeah, no. So I am working very hard on a lot of stuff. So much stuff that like I really don't know um, how I want to play it. Like I know, like first of all, like you're getting something like an official project from fiVe very very soon.
Great.
It's just that I need to. I got the right people in my corner. I got some people that not necessarily plugged in, but just kind of the experience part. Just make sure that it's marketed right. I want to make sure that it's right. Again, I'm calculated. I'm such a perfectionist that like if it's not exactly how I envision it to be, I won't do it. So I drop little freestyles here and there to kind of promote it. But yeah, no, I still write all the time, man. I've invested in myself. I'm actually going to turn a little room in my house into a studio, probably before spring. Within the next, I'd say probably like month and a half, ideally. You can ask B Gorman 6813 if that's in the plans. But I bought a mic. I bought the Pro Tools. I put the studio in my house versus writing and finding the time to go because it's just like the gym, man. If you put a gym in your house, it's right here. Now you don't have to go.
Yo, dude,
So
this is what my room is. I feel you. I mean, it's kind of big, but those are packing blankets all over the walls. I have them on the ceilings, and the acoustics are good enough.
Yeah. No, that's it, man. And it's like, I've been networking a lot. That's why, Bars of Death, even the 50 bar challenge. I met a lot of great people from there. Breaking records, bridge the gap. I hop in everything that I can, man. And I catch a lot of flack sometimes for like recycling bars and shit or whatever. But like, I don't give a fuck because like I'm reaching a new audience. People haven't heard me, and then I'm gonna meet the next a podcast provider, if you will. I'm gonna meet the next DJ. I'm gonna meet the next artist. Like I'm gonna meet the next person. They're gonna be like, yeah, I fuck with that. Just because you heard it a million times, don't mean nothing. So when I do these contests and shit, I might throw something over. But like if I'm coming to win, like I'm writing some fresh shit. But it's just like again, I haven't been writing a lot of fresh shit for contest purposes because I'm working on my sound and my craft and shit. So that's the long answer. The short answer is absolutely. I'm looking to put out one, if not two projects this year where and I'm working on some pretty good features too. So money's obviously always an issue in terms of, I would say an issue, but it's always a factor in terms of who you can get. But I've been kind of just doing my research and I got some ideas in mind. So I'm gonna fuck shit up. I promise.
Awesome.
Don't worry.
So we did get 2 questions as we build up for our raid moment. Ismail wants to know, who are your favorite fast rappers / groups?
I think I guess you can classify him as a fast rapper now. Is I think that Eminem has just mastered the art of rapping. Like he's just mastered it. Syllables are everything when it comes to fast rapping. But I like I grew up on Bone Thugs and Harmony. So, Bone Thugs was always fucking real dope. I think Hobson is real dope today. I think that he got that fast flow down. He's a little gimmicky, like not for me, right? But just the consensus of him. I think.
I mean, I like it, but he is.
So yeah. Now, if you I don't know if you ever heard of that dude, Passionate MC? He's from like around my way. He fucks with him a lot. He was on like one of his like lunch. I think it was like a lunchroom cipher like back in the day. Anyways, I don't want to get too much about that. The point is, he's from my town, so Rhode Island. What up? I would say Twista's dope. Busta's like Busta like fucking invented this shit. So Busta's like legendary to me. I'm trying to think of somebody like outside the box that a lot of people wouldn't like. Really quick to think of. I like people who are like the multis, people like AZ. Like he's real creative with it and puts in words and schemes that you're like, oh shit, it was like right under our noses. We could have thought of that word, but I think as far as groups, I think Wu-Tang is a classic. That part of kind of who helped raise me in terms of the music element. I like, G Unit was dope. I like Lloyd Banks was like huge for me. Like he was like so clever, and like being clever goes a long way with me. So I used to like G Unit back in the day. They just made dope fucking bangers that I still bump today. So Banks was always my dude. I like Tech Nine. Obviously, Tech Nine is a legend with that shit too. There's so many fast rappers, and it's like it's a thin line because the people who can't do it like that, or the people who they're like, oh, you just rapping fast. Oh, that's all you can do is rap fast. It's like you catch a little bit of flack from it, but if you're saying something when you're rapping fast and you hit your syllables so people can hear what you're saying, it's a different story versus being like, lyrical, miracle, spiritual, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a huge difference between doing that. I don't know if that answers your question, but and for me, it's gonna be Eminem. I mean, Eminem's just mastered it. He's flawless that way with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that answer. I mean, it's Ismail's question, so it's hard for me to be like, I don't know if that's the right answer. The other question that we got was from E-Rock. He wants to know if there's going to be a collab between you and LMS. That would be dope.
We've talked about it. I can tell you that much. We don't have a beat picked out, but I would love to work with LMS. I think he's creative as fuck. He's somebody that like you're saying all these great, wonderful things about me, man. Like I look at LMS and I say the same shit about him. Like he got his breath control perfect. He puts
That's
in the
fair.
work.
I
His content.
honestly owe him an interview still from like what are the other the Novembers or whatever that Beat Genius did.
Yeah, yep, yep, yep.
And I owe LMS the content. He just never followed up. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But he seemed to be busy killing it everywhere.
You
So I
know,
respect
we all
that.
live lives, man. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it may not be personal, but yeah, no, I like LMS. I think that he's somebody I definitely like to
I
work with.
fucks with him so heavy. Like honestly, I hear you and I feel everything you're saying. I felt that way about him too. I wasn't saying it bad. Like when I told him, I'm like, I see you're too busy fucking winning to like pay attention. And I'm like, I get that, my guy. Go keep winning. Like he literally turned down my interview to win one of these motherfuckers. I'm like, okay, but it wasn't like turned it down. It's like, yo, it's open whenever the time is right. It's there for him, and I'm gonna prioritize him.
Yeah, no, but I think it took the words out of my mouth, man. Prioritize it. So I think that we all have good intentions and say, yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to be able to do that network. And then something comes up where,
Yeah, man.
whether it's winning the bread or just working on your craft, you get caught up. When you go down the rabbit hole with this writing shit, it's like nothing. That's the mindset you got to have.
That's
It's like
facts,
I'll
man.
get to you.
I'm like, yo, I can't even record now. I'm so rusty. I'm off beat and shit. I'm like going in late, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've like, let myself slip so far. But I'm doing all this shit, so I'm not mad. But I hear what you're saying from the opposite ends because it's actually hard for me to come through and do it as well as I would like to because I'm not able to put the time in like I would want. And I feel like I respect what you're saying. If you're in hot streak, you don't fuck that shit up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, 100%, man. Nah, yeah, I definitely fuck with LMS. Yeah, lots of dudes, man. I'm working on. So,
That's
I'd
awesome.
love to work with.
Anyway, I appreciate having you here, my guy. I don't want to drag this out. Yo, shout out what the F13 for the follow. That's super cool too. But yeah, I appreciate you being here. I think this was a mad enlightening conversation. I don't know about your wrestling. I don't know how smart you were to the degree that you are. Like this guy is very smart. Like I'm gonna be talking with him. I'm certain in the future, cause yo, I see you. I see your brain. I saw what you do with it. That's fucking cool. Your music's on point. I appreciate the way you see life. I feel like there were knowledge nuggets gained on this shit. Um, I think it's cool. Believe it or not, this is one of my better streams in history. So thank you for that. From a numbers perspective, it's a gift that you helped me achieve. So that is amazing. So thank you for being part of this moment. And yo, most importantly, as much as it's dope to have five here and it's dope to have our conversation, thank y'all watching this though, because again, it's like a live show and there were people in the audience watching the live show. That's wicked stills to me. Like I don't care what anyone says, it's a blessing every single time it happens that people still come. Cause yo, I go live a lot and people keep coming. So every time I say it, I mean it because it baffles me
Yeah,
that it's real. You know. Um, but so thank you for real. Your engagement, your questions, your curiosity, your willingness to debate Tech Nine's qualities as an album of that shit's dope to me that they're having a Tech Nine sidebar conversation right now. You know, that's fucking crazy cool. So yeah, thank you for that.
that's a beast.
So
Yeah, he's a beast.
for those in the future watching this on the YouTubes and shit, thank you for that being there and Spotify, wherever you're watching it on or listening, blah blah blah. Thank you, we appreciate you. Subscribe if you're feeling like subscribing or following, etc. Blah blah blahs. Like the videos, all that YouTube gear crap, whatever. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. They support what we do. If you're on Twitch and you support what we do and you happen to have Amazon Prime, it's free to hit that little subscribe button, which is a little bit of dollars, which is dope. And if you're in the future and you're not here now, patreon.com/behind that suit, that'd be hella dope. On that note, appreciate y'all. Do you have any last words for the peeps?
Yeah, I would just say that if you want to be able to follow me, Instagram is a big one that I'm on, which is at five FIVE _ hip hop. So again, FIVE _ hip hop, and that's usually my handle for everything: YouTube, SoundCloud. I am on Spotify. There's no underscore there. It's just
Yo,
five
let me
hip
go
hop.
ahead and link that for the Twitch live for the peoples. And then
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the future, all of your links are going to be down below.
Yep, yep. Yeah, no, and yeah, it's definitely something where followings matter, numbers matter. You know what I mean? It's like I met with people, and it's like they see my following, and it's like compared to somebody who's got the views. Like I got videos with some views. I bet I like the grind mode ciphers and shit. Those guys do pretty good numbers, but I'm somebody who's just I, for the life of me, I just have the integrity where I want it to be all organic, man. I want to do it the right way. You can pay for views and followers and all that shit. And it's like, yeah, it's all right. But like the people who are doing that don't have the fucking mindset to survive in it. So they're never going to
Facts.
make it anyway. So,
You're killing it, my
um,
guy. In my opinion, you're crushing. I give a shit about you.
no doubt, man. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. So yeah, following is the biggest way you support, man.
Yo,
And
you see that
yeah,
Instagram link right there in the chat? Go ahead and hit that. And in the future, in the comments, descriptions below, wherever you're watching, it's going to be there too. Go follow. And then all that stuff. Show love. It's important.
yeah, man. Appreciate everybody who shows love. Appreciate you for having me, man. We'll definitely do it again sometime and chop it up.
Big facts.
Thanks to everybody, and yeah, whether you're a fan or whether you're a fan or artist, keep doing your thing, man. Salute.
Awesome. On that note, live long and prosper, everybody.